Hi, and welcome to Tech Edge, and we're in our second episode talking about technology and arts integration. I'm Guy Trainin. I'm a professor at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
And I'm Cody Tellerico. I'm the Fine Arts Education Specialist at the Nebraska Department of Education.
And today we're talking about Classkick, and I'm going to be the student, right?
You are.
So tell us a little bit about Classkick.
So when I was teaching, my teaching background is K-6 vocal music. And when I was teaching, Classkick is really just a learning app. So it can be used in any subject. And it was one of my favorites because I could see the kids working in real time and also cut down on having to have manipulatives for the kids, having to wait and grade a paper later. And so it just kind of kept everything in one place. And my particular district bought an enterprise, so I could have all of my kids in my building log in. So there is a cost to it. Teachers can do it on their own, or the district can do it as well.
And if you're working within a district that has an organized way to work with apps, you've got to make sure that you go through the process and you get the approvals, because we do have some legal requirements and safety requirements that are connected to it. That being said, the app itself has all of these layers of security, so you can trust it, but you do need to go through formal approval if your district hasn't bought into it yet.
Absolutely. So we'll dive in and I'll show you 3 different things that I used to use when I was in the classroom. The first one here is a melodic identification test. So we had common, formative, and summative assessments in the district that I taught in. And the kids would have to go through, after we taught a certain melodic element, and they would have to identify which melody was being heard. So this is basically just a slideshow that I started with, and then I import the slideshow into Classkick, and it gives you different navigation with it. And then, so like in this particular instance, we're using the tone set of F, and it's over the note Fa. And then one of the other things that I realized is with this particular assessment, I would usually have to sing it and the kids would have to be right with me. So then using the app here of Classkick, I was able to record it, and then I didn't have to always be administering the test. So if a kid was gone, I could say, oh yeah, your test is available for you in Classkick, jump on and do it. They could also listen to it as many times as they needed, and I didn't have to sing it over and over and over. So they would just, click on it, and then this is just me singing it.
For questions number 1, 2, and 3.
And I would explain it and go through and sing it and make sure that they knew where the tonal center was.
And what I'm saying on my side, because I logged in as a student, is I have a little bar that tells me I can play it. So I can hear it on my own.
This is the tone set that we will use for questions number 1, 2, and...
And that means that, again, if I'm not on campus that day, I can listen to it. But also if I'm there and you want everybody to use their headphones, they can do that as well.
Yep. And actually, my class, we would just scatter out. They didn't want to use their headphones. We just scatter all over the front of the building is where I was, and they would just listen to it and do it. And then, so the test is set up. The tone set's at the top, and then this recording here has one of these melodic patterns. And so the kids then had to choose either A, B, and C. And on my screen right now, you can see that the answer is chosen for B. One of the things about Classkick, it always gave you 5 different multiple choices, A, B, C, D, and E. So on Dr. Trainin's side here, if he goes to slide 3, I'll go back to...
I'm on slide 3.
Yep. And then let me go to the student work. So after this is all ready to go, then as the kids are taking it, you can see them logged in. So guys down here at the bottom, I can see that he's now on slide 3. He's ready to do that. So if he plays it, and then he would choose B, and then it lights up green. If he were to choose...
Question number 1. What pattern do you hear? So, fa, mi, re, do.
And if he were to choose a different answer, like A or C, then it's going to show up red. And so that was a nice way with an entire class. I could see them working in real time. And especially, I always was one that I wanted the kids to practice the assessment so they knew the instrument before we did it. And then this let me get right into a kid and say, hey, you might be having some trouble right now, rather than having to wait a week, because I saw my kids every 4 days. And so it was so nice that I could just see them working in real time. And just knowing that feedback is such an important part of the learning process.
Mi, mi, fa, so.
So we'll watch Guy work. We'll see if you can figure it out. All right, so he got it.
All right. I'm working through it, man.
All right. So that's one way of using ClassKick.
Yeah.
Ready to look at another way?
And the one thing I want to highlight, because you were a music teacher and we're thinking about other art teachers, and at least where we are, and I think in many places around the United States and maybe beyond, art teachers don't get to see their kids every day. They get to see their kids in jumps, but they have whether they're art, music, I mean the arts in a more generalized way, and even other specials that occur at a regular frequency but not every day. You have two features that really help with this design. One is that you don't see your kids often, so you need to be able to give feedback and get feedback to them much faster, because if you don't see them, you see them only once a week, and then they miss one, suddenly it's been 2 weeks, and it's really long to preserve the learning. So that's one feature of this, which makes it worthwhile. The other feature is that you teach the same thing with multiple groups of kids. So every time you put your time and effort into creating this, you will use it even within that very same week, maybe 3, 4, 5, maybe more times. So you get a lot of return, because making these things is labor intensive. And for somebody who sees groups of students that are similar, that makes it truly worthwhile and gives you returns much faster than, for example, I think about most of the teachers I work with are elementary teachers, and they get to do that one thing only once, and then it takes a full year till they circle back to it. So is it worth doing? Sometimes it's still worth doing, and if you have a few teachers and you kind of take turns into taking those things on, or the district organizes it, it makes it worthwhile. But when you're working like that in a school, then it makes the return is immediate.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
And like you said, being able to share it. So I could share this, put it on, share it out widely, or share it directly with other teachers that are in the district and that. So, and here's the dashboard or the menu where you can turn grades on and off. You can allow kids to help each other. There's a feature where they can raise hands if they have a problem and need some help. And then down here is the lock the assignment. So like now Guy can't do anything. And so he can try, but he can just go back and forth. He can still hear it, but he can't answer any questions.
Oh, okay.
And then I can click on show students their points. And now on his side, it shows up. You didn't answer that one, so you don't get to see the points.
All right.
So lots of fun features. Ready to try creating in ClassKick?
All right. Let's see what we can do for creating in ClassKick.
All right. So how you, once you make the assignments, then you share it with a code. And so I'll give you the code. And you click to the Assign tab. You can either assign a roster, and then if the kids always log in the same way, or you can just do a code the entire time.
So is this a new class?
This is a new assignment.
Okay.
Yep. And they can either do the code, you can give them a link and they can go in, you can embed that in your learning management system as well. So this one is second grade. So this is improvising and creating in second grade.
All right.
In my particular district, we worked on half notes in second grade.
All right.
And so let me jump back here. All right, so this is 1,000 Hungry Monsters. And the rhyme goes like this on slide 2, so that way you could project this and they could see it. 1,000 hungry monsters sitting down to lunch, gobble, gobble, gulp, munch, munch, scrunch. And so the kids would learn that, and then we would read the rhythm. And being a music teacher and having those half notes in it, I wanted to make sure everything kind of lined up. So T T T T T T T T T T ta T T T T ta 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 ta, and that's just the rhythm language that I used in my classroom. And then we talked about half notes and how they have 2 beats. That word that we're going to use is gulp, and so here the kids can write 2 in there. And if I go back to where I can see Guy working. All right, so now this is Guy's screen. So now quarter notes. So munch, how many beats does a quarter note get?
1.
All right, so you'd write in a 1.
All right.
And then on my screen, because I'm looking at Guy's and how he's working right here, I can see that. And then eighth notes, be careful, not 2 beats. And so nibble, how many beats there?
1. Okay.
All right. So,
I'm learning something here. So,
and then go to the next slide.
yeah.
And so now one of the things in music, we create,
Yeah.
perform, respond, and connect. And so this is where we were creating. And so you're going to create a 4-beat pattern using our monster words of gulp, nibble, and munch. And at the bottom, you have basically cards. It becomes a manipulative. So he can go ahead and drag one of those cards up.
So I can now, I can do munch. Oh, gulp is.
So
Yeah.
so Guy tried to, it didn't jump in because you can't see him doing
Yeah.
it until there. He tried to put it up here, but then he realized that gulp didn't fit there and it's 2 beats long. And so that's why that particular card is longer. And so we're going to create an 8-beat pattern. And then the kids would be so excited, and I could project these different rhythms, or they could practice as together in groups. So let's say it together. All
All right.
Nibble, munch, gulp, gulp, nibble, munch. And then there's a repeat sign, so we'd repeat it, but let's repeat it with rhythm language. And I always used ta for half notes, so do the best job you can. And ti, ta, 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 ti, ta. And then the great thing about this too is then the kids can move that and they can rearrange it and do all sorts of different things on that slide. And then I even gave them a few other examples so they could hang on to it as well. So a way to create with your kids.
All right. I love it. And this is the most music lessons I've had since probably 4th grade. So
that's coming back.
Thank you for that. All right. So today on Tech Edge, we talked about ClassKick and the ways you can use it to really organize learning, to think about how kids can create. And what I love about it is there's that opportunity to create. What are your last words of wisdom for teachers?
I just loved the fact that it could be on the iPad and I didn't have to go and get all my stuff. And when I left the classroom, all the stuff in my classroom, I actually built a shed, and because I had so many things to store.
Yeah.
And so this was just a wonderful way that I could just, have it all in one place and get the kids in there, and it was faster. Yeah. And sometimes my classes were only 25 minutes long, by the time you pass everything out. And then it also, if they did it on a manipulative, it's gone at the end.
Yeah.
So this was a way I could, have them leave it there, could share it with parents, on parent-teacher conferences, lots of possibilities.
All right, so we'll see you next time on Tech Edge.